the bone. So Badko Matsuba Masayim V'Chamishim Rishnayim. They found. He said it was 251, 252. Found 252. We'll see exactly what it means in a minute. So Amalahem Shema Be'isha Badaktim. Rabbi Shmuel said, you must have checked the woman. Because there's an extra 4. There's hinges, 2 hinges, and 2 doors. I guess when they give birth, it has to open up, hinges and doors. Tanya Rabbi Elazar Aimek Shem Shetzirim Labayas Kach Tzirim Leisha. Just like on a house there's hinges, so too there's hinges on a woman. This was the daughter of Pinchas. Chafni and Pinchas were the sons of Eli. The ark got captured, and the man ran back, and he tells Eli that the ark is captured, and Chafni and Pinchas died, and Eli falls off the chair. He breaks his neck, and he dies. And meanwhile, Pinchas's wife was right then giving birth, and she gave birth, and she named the child Ikaved. E means not. It's like a, like in Latin. E in Hebrew, a in Latin. Ikaved, not honor. So over here it says Ki nepchola tzira, because her hinges. Tzira means her pain, but tzir could also mean a hinge. It's one word. It could mean pain, or it could mean hinge. So it says, the hinges turned. So we're learning that the woman has hinges, so that's an extra thing that a man wouldn't have. It's an extra limb.
It's interesting. The reason I think they have this dispute is because they went to Ishmael and said, like, how many bones does a person have? He said, a person has 248. Curious that he didn't say, like, a man has 248 and a woman has 252.
That, I think, is being added in by the translator. I don't know if that's what he actually said. No. Yeah, I think that's added in by the translator, unless in the original. In our Gemara it doesn't say. Maybe it's quoting from somewhere else. Rabbi Shua Aimer Kshem Shedalsis Labayas Kach Dalsis Leisha. The same way there's doors to a house, there's also doors to a woman. Shnemakile Sagar Dalsi Bitni. The doors of my womb have not been closed. Rabbi Kiva Kshem Shemaftech Labayas Kach Maftech Leisha. Here's the extra one, the missing one that makes it into 252. There's also a key. Shneim Yiftach Es Rachma, he opened her womb. Rabbi Akiva Kasha, the Talmid Rabbi Yishmael. The problem is, according to Rabbi Akiva, 248, 251, 252, there's a problem with the students of Rabbi Yishmael. It should be 253. They only found 252. What's going on over here? 49, 51, 2. Oh, yeah. So he should have had 253 because it would be an extra 5. So it doesn't help. Why did they say 251? No one has 251. How come your comment said 251?
It's from Rambam.
Agamar doesn't mention anything like that. Okay. It says, they don't tell you where in the Rambam, do they?
Actually, it says the Chacham teach that the male has 248, the woman has 251. And it says Rambam, Sefer Tahara, Hilchos Tumas Mace, 2:7. So it cancel from Mishnah there.
I remind me afterwards. I need to check that. Because it doesn't fit with this Gemara. So the answer is Dilma Aidi Dezuchas is Temuchi Mitmach. Maybe because it was small, so what did they do? They didn't just, this wasn't just a dissection. Over here they boiled it up. So therefore could be it dissolved. Chalent.
Chicken soup.
Amar Rav, v'kulan ein metamen ba'oil. Rav says that they don't contaminate in the tent. Amalei Abaya. When we say all of them don't contaminate the tent, we're talking about the extra limbs of the woman. Those extra limbs don't contaminate. Amalei Abaya b'ish leka. Abaya says men don't have this. Baksiv tzirim achazuni kitziri yeleda. We have a pasuk that says I was in pain, like the pain of birth, and that word tzir is used, which means a hinge. The Gemara explains tziri basar. That's not a bone. That's just flesh. Baksiv. I guess it's Hashem's name. B'mara nepchu tziri. With the vision, he gets this pain when he has this vision. This was Daniel. Hachanami tziri basar. That means a pain. That's a hinge or a pain of flesh, but it's not a bone. Hachanam mistabra dilei temahachi. It has to be like that, because if you don't say though, Masayim v'arba shmeinim hechem mishkachas la loy dish loy b'isha, then where do you have the 248? It's not in men and it's not in women. So it must be that the men have the 248 and the women have the 252. Okay. Yeser b'yodav v'raglav. If there's an extra digit in the hand and the feet, Amar Rab Yitzchak Kushnei Mikrecha Darshu. They learn it from a pasuk. Over there, I think it's Arpa's sons. They were these Pelishtim were coming and fighting, and Vatiyad Melchama. There was another battle. Uksiv Yishmadin. There was a giant. Etzba Yodav Etzba Raglav. Sheish v'sheish. It says that he had an extra digit, this giant. It's like so big, he even had 6 fingers on each hand. Marsaver Begnusim Ishtoi. One of these opinions, which the one who said that it's a mum, the Chachamim, they say that Begnusim Ishtoi, the pasuk is saying how gross this person was. Marsav B'shvachim Ishtoi. Rabbi Yehuda, that says that it's not a mum to have this extra digit, was saying that the Torah is saying how great this person was and what a giant and strong. He even had an extra finger, that it's a good thing. Amar Rabba Mali Diksiv Sheish Sheish Esrim V'Arba Nisper Tzrichi. The pasuk says that he had 6, 6, 24. 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6 is 24. He asks, are you trying to tell me the math? The arithmetic? Dikas Rachmana Sheish Sheish. It answers like this. If it would have only said he has 6, 6, Havamina Shis, the other Vishis Kari, I would have thought that he had 6 on the hands and 6 on the feet. But not 12 and 12. It would be just be 1 extra digit per each. Kasav Esrim V'Arba, therefore it says that there were 24. Kasav Esrim V'Arba, and if it says 24, Havamina Hachamesh Mehai Gisa, V'Sheva Mehai Gisa. I would have said that there's 5 on one and 7 on the other. But he says no, it's a Kasav Sheish Sheish. Nispar B'Nisperas. Is that a new piece? And then it says Mispar B'Nisperas Al Gavayad. It says the number was 6, 6. That's telling us that it was together with the other fingers. Okay, Tanya. Starting in the Bryce Rabbi Yehuda Ma'aseh B'Adam Echad Shabbat Lefnei Reb Tarfon. There was a person that came to Reb Tarfon. Yeser b'yadav v'baraglav sheish sheish yeser v'yarba. He had 6 digits on each finger, on each hand, and on each of his hand and his feet. Amalei Reb Tarfon says, "K'maischa yirb v'Yisrael." There should be more people like you in Israel. Amalei Reb Yosi misham raya. So you bring a proof from that's a good thing, and therefore it's a proof to Rabbi Yehuda. You see, Rabbi Yehuda was saying this. He's quoting the story. He says, Kach Amalei. What he meant to say is, K'maischa yisma'atu mamzir nesinim Yisrael. Like you should be, everyone that's a mamzer or a nasan, they should have such a digit so that we'll know that there's something abnormal about them. How do you know this was said in a positive way? Maybe this guy was a mamzer and we wanted to be able to recognize that there's something wrong with him. Dr. Stein.
Wake up, Dr. Stein.
Oh, he's on mute.
I'm here. I'm on mute. I have to find that.
Does this help your theory yesterday, with that it was a intermarriage?
I don't know. This whole Gemara is so weird. I'm not commenting.
No, because here it's saying that the guy that has the extra digit was a mamzer, and so it's coming from outside
I
genetics.
see what you said. I don't know. So maybe it might be a raya.
Okay. Now, Dr. Steiner was saying yesterday that there was a benefit to a kohen marrying a bas kohen, and it could be that these women were showing that there was some outside genetics that were coming in, and that was the basis for the movement. Okay. Hashelit Pishtei Yadav. Although that doesn't help with the recessive things, because that makes them all. Hashelit Pishtei Yadav, someone that's ambidextrous. Tan Rabbanan, iter bein biyad bein b'regel. If someone is a lefty, whether it's in his hand or his foot, puzzle. He can't serve. Hashelit Pishtei Yadav. But let's say he's ambidextrous. Rebbe Paisel v'cham machshirim. Rebbe says he's puzzle. The sages say it's kosher. Mar Savar, one of them holds kechishusa aschala biyamin. One says that it's a weakness in the right hand. Mar Savar briyusa aschala b'smala. The other one says that it's an extra strength in the left hand, which means that the one that says that it's kosher is because of that extra. There's no lack of strength in his right hand. Okay. Hakushi, someone that's black. Vahagichar is another color, we'll see. Vahalabkan is another color. Vahakapach is, we're going to say, someone that's extremely tall. What was the disease that Abraham Lincoln had? What was it that makes him grow very tall?
Giant. It was like some giant. There were giants in it.
They said one of the pharaohs had it.
Oh, really?
I think they said like Akhenaten or something had it. Because they found it in the tomb, in the what's it called, sarcophagus.
Abraham Lincoln had Marfan syndrome.
Yeah. So what they wanted to say, they says Parai was an Amma. So they wanted to say that some people claim that they think Parai was an Amma, just like this little midget, because the midget says he was Amma, but really they translated that there's a Gemara that says people were B'nai Amma, and that meant to say not that they were a midget, but that they were very, 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 very tall. They were like a measuring stick, so they had this. They said really Parai wasn't an Amma, he was really extra tall. And then they said, oh, so maybe that's the Paro was Akhenaten. We don't know which Paro it is. They always said it's Ramses or whatever. But they said maybe it was Akhenaten because they know that he had this extra height. Okay, Mananas is a dwarf. V'acherish v'ashaita, someone that's deaf and dumb and deaf and mute. V'ashaita is someone that's not coherent. Vashikar is also not coherent, is drunk. Ubali negoyim tahirim, someone that has a tsaras, but it's tahar. In other words, the kohen didn't say that it's tameh. It's a type of tsaras that's tahar. If he was tameh, he couldn't serve anyway. But here he's saying he's tahar. Psulim ba'adam ksherim bebehema. These are things that are invalidate a man, but they're kosher for an animal. He says, yes, it doesn't invalidate an animal, but that's not what you should choose when you bring a sacrifice to bring this animal that's crazy. If there's extra growths, skin growths, that would invalidate a person, but not an animal. Okay, the Gemara now says Kushi is uchma. Kushi is dark. Gichar was the second case of the Mishnah. That's chivra. He's extra white. And Labkan is sumka. He's red. Aini, is that really so? Luke, it's supposed to be Lubkiani, I think. What's the skimmel here? Lubkiani. And anyone that wants to buy a Lubkiani, Bishtaka Chivra, and they found that he was talking about something that was extra white. Again, we're looking for the term, what it means. Ela Kushi, we have to retranslate this. Kushi is Uchma, that we know is dark. Gichar is Sumka. The Gichar is the red one. Kadamrian she Sumka Gicha, like people say Sumka Gicha, that Sumka means red. Labkan is Chivra, and the Labkan is the white, extra white skin. Hudamar man boy Lubkiani Veshtaka Chivri. Oh, let's see. You there?
Yes, sorry about that. I wanted to say something.
Oh.
Yeah, when you said Luciani is white, in medicine, we use the term leuco always for white, like white blood cells are leukocytes, and there's diseases called leukoplakia, which is white-black, so leuc is white.
It's interesting.
Probably comes from Latin.
It's interesting because the text of the Gemara says Luki, but the correction on the side says Lubki with the B in there. Lubkiani. So it's interesting why that mistake would be in there. You see, the Mishnah is calling it Labkan. So we're looking for the word Labkan, but it's just interesting that it's Lukiani. That's enough. Okay, whatever the case is.
It says Lavkan is derived from the Greek word lukon, which means white.
Oh.
And this seems that this is referring to albino, a person who's born with a pigmentation deficiency in his skin, hair, and his eyes, his eye tissues. So like you say, it's like luko is white. This is coming from the Greek, it says.
Oh, interesting.
Because lukon means white.
Very interesting. Okay, so kapach is the next type of mum. Tani Rab Zvid Gavai is very tall. Aini, is that so? Tani Rab Avam Minayin Shah Kadosh Baruch Hu Mishtabech B'Balei Kaima. Why are you saying this is a mum? God praises those that are tall. Shnemar Va'Noichi Yishmadati Asamari Mipneim Asher Kagoi Va'Rozim Gavu. I destroyed the Amari from and before them that were as tall as cedar trees. Amar Papa Baricha Shmita Sanya. Talking about tall and skinny. That's the problem. Tall and skinny is no good. But tall with strength, with the right proportion, that's good. Amalei Reish Lakish. Gavaya Leisa Gavayas. A very tall person, a very tall man, should not marry a tall woman. Shema Yetzamiam Turan. Maybe a Turan will come out. What's the Turan?
Extremely tall.
Do they have any note on the side what the word Turan is in the language? Okay.
NBA basketball player.
Right. Nanas Leisa Naneses. A midget shouldn't marry a midget test. Shema Yatzamem Etzboy, maybe there'll be the term over here is a finger. Maybe the child will be even smaller than that. Lavan Leisa Lavana, a white person shouldn't marry another white person. Shem Yatzamem Bayak, maybe they'll come out shining, like extra white. Shachal Yisa Shcheir Shem Yatzamem Tafuach. A black person shouldn't marry a black person. Maybe the child is going to be totally black, like the pot, like a burnt, like the stove, like the burnt. Ha'cheresh ha'sheita v'ashikar. These are also women. Someone that's deaf and dumb, or a imbecile, someone that's drunk. The Gemara says 1 second. These are types of mumen that are not real mumen over here. These are just mumen because you're not similar to the descendants of Aaron. Shikar machal avoda. Someone that's drunk, that does the service, he invalidates the service. That should have been put back in the earlier Mishnayos where we said those type of mumen that invalidate the service. Why is it being put over here together with the ones that are just not acceptable, but because it's not similar to the descendants of Aaron. So it says B'shar Dvar Mashakrim. We're not talking about that he drank wine. We're talking about he drank other types of alcoholic beverages. But like Rabbi Yehuda, and it's not like Rabbi Yehuda that says the Tanya was taught in the Brisa, Ochel devela keilis v'shasa chola v'dvash. If someone had this type of fig, or he drank milk or honey. The honey would be over here, it would be mead. And he goes into the temple, Rabbi Yehuda says he's chayav. So we're not going like Rabbi Yehuda. We're saying that this is not the biblical prohibition. This is a secondary prohibition, and this wouldn't invalidate the service, but nevertheless he's still not allowed to serve.
Is it true that a temporary mum is not a mum?
Right, but you still have to wait for it to go away. Oh, so you wanted to say that maybe...
So you're right, you're not allowed to serve because you have a temporary mum, but it's not considered a mum.
Right.
You just can't serve today, you cannot tomorrow serve. Where's the part here with those permanent conditions?
Right.
Some people are permanently drunk.
Yeah, maybe that's what it means.
I think I know one.
Eluk Sherim Ba'adam. These are kosher for a person, Upsulim B'Behema, but they're invalid for an animal. Oisev Espinai. If an animal is slaughtered, the child of that animal cannot be slaughtered on the same day. Same is not true by a human. And we're not talking about slaughter. We're talking about if there's a father that's doing the service in the temple, the child is allowed to do service in the temple at the same day. The comparison is service, not slaughter. Okay. Treifa. An animal that's a treifa is not acceptable for a korban, but a kohen that's a treifa is acceptable. Does that make sense? For Zion.
If he has a legion of lungs,
Right.
it's not one of the 24 things that make a person a mum, or whatever it is. Not more than 24.
Right. We only said chusser. We had a discussion from chusser aver, chusser aver b'fnim, if that was considered a mum. B'yotzei daifen, if he was born Caesarean, he can still serve in the temple. I don't know if we add in. There's a parenthesis here. I don't know if it's supposed to be there. Shenev de ba'avera shemis ha'sa'adam. I'm not sure. I don't know what to do with that. Let's see the Bach. B'hanaisei nashim ba'avera. If someone marries women that are forbidden, so it's pasalat shiadirena hana. He is invalid until he takes a vow that he's never going to do that again or have benefit from that. Someone that goes into cemeteries and he's a kohen, he needs to accept that he's not going to do that again. Okay, now we go through these are acceptable by a man. What does it mean that it's not acceptable for an animal, but it is acceptable for a human? Now, the problem is like this. We said it's talking about a mother animal with a child. Not necessarily is it referring to the father animal with the child, because the father animal, it's hard to know who the father is a lot of times, and it's actually a machlokes if it applies to the father. So, my Baisav Espinai, Ilema Aaron Uvanov, saying it's talking about Aaron and his sons. So the Kavasei Tayash Benai, what would correspond to that? Would be a goat, a male goat, and the child. Minog, is that a case of Baisav Espinai? Two male animals. Vatanya Baisav Espinai, Naig ben Akevis Bein and Naig Bezacharim. Baisav Espinai only applies to females, it doesn't apply to males. El Tayashu Bena, it's talking about a female goat with the child. The Kavasei Hacha. And then we go back to here, correspond over here. Who's permissible to serve? Kayhena Subana, a female Kayan, and her child. It says Kayhena Spasavaidahi, a female Kayan, is allowed to do the service. When it goes back, it says Loila Mar Navana, really we're talking about Aaron and his sons. The Kavasei Hacha, and then we'll correspond over here, it will be the male goat in the child. Taya Shubanai. And Amri B'Marav, Mishmei Rabbi Yossi Baravin, Ada Amra was said in the West, in Abraham Yosef Baravin, regarding this it says, Chananya, that this Mishnah is the opinion of Chananya. The Tanya was taught in the Brisa, Ois Vespanai Naig Ben Akeves, Beina Naig Bezacharim. Ois Vespanai applies to females but not to males, and Chananya Naig Bezacharim and Akeves. Chananya says it applies to both.
I believe we did the Haman the other day, that parts of the paragil, the process can be done by a female.
Oh yeah?
Yes.
Like filling the water maybe,
Exactly.
or...
So there are some little minor things that they are allowed to do.
The idea.
That's right. That was a big problem. There was a big discussion. Women shouldn't be holding. It's considered male clothing.
Shouldn't be holding what?
Armor. They could serve in the army, but they weren't supposed to be doing doing that sort of fighting.
When is this?
No, there was a big discussion at the beginning of when they were doing the draft in Israel if the women should be soldiers.
Now they have some
Now they have,
uniforms from guards.
Yeah, from girls that are soldiers also. I'm surprised.
Yeah, long skirts.
Oh yeah.
There was a letter to the Rebbe in yesterday's Verbringen, a two-sheeted thing from Hellinger,
Yeah.
and somebody had written to the Rebbe. This girl, she felt very much connected to Eretz Yisrael, and she wanted to do for Eretz Yisrael. And she just turned 18. This is 1958, and she asked the Rebbe if she wanted to be in the army, serve in the army. And the Rebbe told her that it's very, very good what you're feeling, but because of tznius, women should not serve in the army. You should be involved in chinuch instead.
Right, on a different front. Right, on a different front. Hanaisi Nashim, if someone marries women that he's forbidden to marry. Tana, it was taught in the Brisa, Noider, he has to take a vow that he's never going to do that again. Va'ivid, he can already go and serve once he does that vow. However, it happens to be he's still married. Then Yerid Megarish, then he goes and he gives the get, then he does the divorce. The Gemara says, V'leicher still mazal gabi chacham v'sharilei. 1 second. This guy may go to the rabbi and annul his vow. And meanwhile, he just served in the temple and he doesn't really have the vow because the chacham takes off the vow from the beginning, right? So it says, Kasav tzarech lefared aneder. The chacham would never annul the vow. Why? Because he has to go to the chacham. When you go to the chacham, to the rabbi, to annul a vow, you have to say the vow. So he's going to say, I made a vow that I'm not going to marry women that are forbidden. So the chacham's going to say, I'm not going to annul that one. So, but if he doesn't have to be mefared on neder, if he can go to the chacham and say, I made a vow, I want to get rid of it, and the chacham just says, mutalach, mutalach, so then he would be able to get this off.
Before the divorce.
This is before the divorce, but he took a vow that he's not going to have benefit from a woman that he's not allowed to be married to. So this makes sense that he's not going to annul, that he can't get the vow absolved if he needs to specify what the vow was. But according to the opinion that says he doesn't have to specify what the vow was, so this guy is doing the service. Meanwhile, he can get the vow annulled. Gemara says the madrina leber rabin. They make him take a vow in public. Okay. This makes sense. Excuse me. If a vow that's taken in public has no annulment. But if, according to the opinion that says that you can annul even such a vow, what are you going to say? He can annul it. So it says the madrina le yadas rabin. This is different. It's not just taken in public, but it's with the public's consent or intention. It means like it's as if he took a vow to all of them, like he can never get rid of this. Amar Ameimar.
It's like a halakha the person takes in by Verbringen for his birthday, let's say. So they encourage him to say it out loud so that the public can consent on it and remind them, hey, wait a second, you should say you were going to come to the shiur in the morning.
But you have to be careful though. You don't want a neder that we like to say bli neder. But remember there was these stories where these people these tzaddikim would pass away, and they said before they passed away, they said, "I'm not going to go into Gan Eden until Hashem brings Mashiach." And they got up there and they annulled it for them. And the Rebbe spoke about this in a Farbrengen. He said, "But if someone takes a vow, al das Rabin, that can never be annulled. So then Hashem is going to have to follow." Like these terms here. A neder isn't enough. A neder bir Rabim or al das Rabin. Hilchasa.
That lady gets hooked up in.
Yeah, that was with her. Yeah, something like that.
And then when he went up, he heard them saying Kaddish inside. He said, "Oh, I
Right.
got to go answer this Kaddish." And he went inside, and that was the end of the.
Right.
He said, "I'm not going to go inside until Mashiach comes." And all of a sudden, he heard them saying Kaddish inside, and he went, "This is the answer." So,
Yeah.
but the Rebbe says, "I know all these little tricks." So, was it the Rebbe or the Friedrich Rebbe?
I think the
So,
Rebbe said it about the Friedrich
Oh,
Rebbe, that
okay.
the Friedrich Rebbe said that. Okay, Meimar says, Hilchas afilu man da meneder shedibram yesh la'afara, al das Rab mein la'afara. Like Meimar says, that if it's done with the public consent, it can never be annulled. V'ani milid varashus. That's only if it's for something that's not just a permissible thing, but not a mitzvah. But mitzvah yesh la'afara. But if someone takes a vow that he's about doing a mitzvah, so that to refrain from doing a mitzvah, so then it still could be annulled, even though there was the consent of the public. Ki Yehuda Mikri Dardaki. There was a teacher that Aji Rabacha made him vow the kapasha b'yinuke,